Yeah, so John, if you really let's
Everyone, welcome to the Fort, a place for change makers in Bangkok. My name is John Quinley. I'm a director at Fortify Rights, and we're honored today to have Tanbirul Ripon with us, a Bangladeshi journalist, producer, who's worked with a number of different outlets, The Economist, AFP, CNN, others. And this month marks the one-year anniversary of what we call the Monsoon Revolution, which is when students took to the streets in Bangladesh and called for democratic reforms, human rights reforms, and later the ousting of the former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. Ripon, you were at the forefront of those protests and actually covered the protest crackdowns. Which the UN fact-finding mission said that during that time, the police and other members of the government
where freedom of expression is allowed, uh, political practices is allowed, democratic environment is completely fair and beautiful. So the youth, especially the students, they have done one a great job in front of our eyes. Even I am a part of youth of Bangladesh. So, but as a journalist, I have to play this role to write this story of that a great moment. So even why the people take the street is a big question for the whole world. Is because of Sheikh Hasina, who is the ousted Prime Minister of the Bangladesh, and many people say that she have done a lot of mistakes against the Bangladesh, and she actually don't love the Bangladeshi people. In Bangladesh, as a democracy, is always under the threat. It's always under the threat. They don't, when they got the power and they practice their own interest things and they collaborate, the perpetrator who is collapsing, who will collapse the environment, who collapse the political situation, who collapse the economy, who collaborate with the corruptors and many perpetrators. So that's why for that reason, always democracy and freedom of expression is under threat. So during the Sheikh Hasina's regime, she organizedly, and she even sometimes command her force, state force, to disappear the people, to disappear the lead vocal, to disappear the political opposition leaders. So even in my perspective, even I witnessed one thing, the extrajudiciary killings. That time I was a student. Extrajudiciary killings is happening in Teknaf by the name of controlling the drug, narcos. And that time they have killed lots of people, hundreds of people. The state force, especially RAB and police. So, and I stand at the street by myself, just only, and I take one placard. I wrote one line just like extrajudiciary killings is human rights and serious human rights violations. We must have to stop. The Bangladesh authorities should have to stop these types of criminal activities. And that time, the state secret forces, they have raid on my home. That time I was a student even. Raid on my home, and they warned my family members, like, please stop your brother to talk about and aware him and advise him to do not talk about this. So it's my personal experience. And that time when the people raised the concern about the history, because Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh Awami League, during the 1971, Sheikh Hasina's father, he considered as the father of the nation, and he led the political movement that time, 1971, and mostly Bangladesh history is part of the, Awami League is part of that history. So after taking the power of the Sheikh Hasina and take the power, and she tried to occupy all the narratives under the Awami Leagues, even many individuals, many farmers. It's a mass movement, the 1971. Mass movements, and the people actually fight for that, for the independence. But the political parties try to occupy that narrative, and Sheikh Hasina is the leader to occupy the history. And then if people outside of the party, even including of her party, when they criticize her roles, draconian roles, black laws, and anything else, even like if anybody, sometimes it happened like when if anybody meets the honorable, uttered the honorable things, and they got the case against, so it happened most of the time. So that's why and price hiking, because Bangladesh is a underdeveloping country, still is struggling with the many economic issues. So that's why the people take the students, take the street to reform the quota system, because the Sheikh Hasina gave the privilege to the, obviously there's a heroes of independence. The 1971, lots of freedom fighters, they have joined the war, they struggled for the independence, and they have success. They achieved. Bangladesh got the status of an independent state, and Bangladesh gave them a privilege to give some access and opportunity to get the jobs. But it sometimes created some. It got like in a 56% quota. Like from the freedom fighters family background, they got the 56% quota. And if you got the best position, best number, it doesn't matter. Matter is if you're from the freedom fighters family, and you will get the job somehow if you create lobby. And then there's a lots of fake freedom fighters has introduced during the Sheikh Hasina's regime. And people got anger, students got anger because they didn't get the jobs, and that's why they take the street to reform the quota. It's not old movement, it's not new movement. In 2018, the same people, they took the street to reform the road system, road laws and traffic systems. And those people also tortured by the Sheikh Hasina at that time. Even is brutally they tortured by the Sheikh Hasina's regime. So those people, those teenagers have their anger, and they keep it and they save it and they bomb it, is respectfully. They showed their angers to in the street in 2024. And the whole month is actually started in June, and it got huge attention in June. July is 19, close to 19, because that time Sheikh Hasina used the 100% of her state forces to the students, against the students, and she called the students are from the Rajakar community. Rajakar is a very big, unjustified, disrespectful discourse and terms for the Bangladeshi people, because during the liberation war, Rajakars are the collaborator of the Pakistan military. So when the Sheikh Hasina tagged to the label to the students, like they are the grandchild of the Rajakar. So students, and they got anger, and they said they're chanting the slogans, and they announce the lots of schedules of programs. And when they see the people bloodshed in the street, then common people gradually raise their voices. It's our son, our daughter. I'm goosebumps. It's like This feelings, our son, our daughters, and then sometimes some police say, my son, my daughters, my brothers are in the street, and I saw the lots of bloods in the street, and the monsoon season, and raining are regular at the time because it's the monsoon time in Bangladesh, and it's washing, and new bloods are taking the streets, and it got huge attention, and all the people comes to the street, and they have struggled for more than 16 days in that moment. And Bangladeshi student, interestingly, they have introduced three, when the student got the victory, that day was the 5th of August. But we don't call this 5th of August. We call it 36th July. July has never end. Never end. Still July is ongoing. The people's emotion on the July is ongoing. July is for the reformation. July is for the change. July is for the establishing a state which will serve the nation, people, and treat as a citizen. That's the thing I saw in the street.
Thank you, Ripon, for that kind of introduction and also history of protest movement in Bangladesh, of resistance in Bangladesh. You said Sheikh Hasina was ousted on August 5th, and the students and other people in Bangladesh were successful in ousting her, and she fled to India, I think, where she still is today. Later, the students asked Professor Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, to come and lead what they call in Bangladesh the interim government. And there was quite a number of reforms that happened in a short period of time. What do you think are the kind of positive steps that have happened in the country, and also some of the challenges that Bangladesh still faces in this road ahead?
Very nice question. I'm living inside the Bangladesh, and I'm trying to connect. Still, my life is always in trouble, so I love to connect with the people, especially vulnerable people. All the Bangladeshis are vulnerable, politically, and in the perspective of human rights, in the perspective of social economy, for everything, they are vulnerable. I'm part of that. So there is one significant revolutionary change I see in after the 55. Bangladesh is maybe more than 53 years. Bangladesh is now. So now the political part is great achievement for me. Even I'm laughing for that. I'm happy for that. So now the political parties are under the pressure by the peoples. When the Bangladeshi peoples get the information like this particular political party's members, leaders, and even supporters got involved with the extortion, looting, or any criminal activities, then people, especially the young people and obviously senior citizens, now participating and talking on the social media, raise their voices, and now the political parties ruled by the even peoples. So they are trying to change their policies, they are trying to change their narratives and hegemonic things and thoughts. So it's a great revelation. In the perspective of who are following the Bangladeshi economy, following the Bangladeshi justice system, following the Bangladeshi many things, but important thing is now the political parties hearing the people's voice. They must have to, and maybe after this revelation, the Bangladesh will get a new election date. Bangladesh get a new election already. The Professor Yunus announced one timeline in February 2nd week. They will arrange the election and hand over the power to the elected government. But the Bangladeshi elected government will be faced huge pressure from the peoples after this revolution. So it's a revolutionary change. Another thing is there's a lot of challenge like bureaucratic challenge and historic, there's a challenge between political parties and impartial bodies, and impartial parties and political parties against the bureaucracy. So and against the security forces, there's a lots of internal stakeholders. They are competing to take their own credits. Like if Bangladesh change into some positive way, the some of the stakeholders said that it's not a Bangladesh credit, it's our credit. So a state means it has some agendas, it has some common agenda. So if any state running people got the credit, I mean have done some positive changes, then it's a credit of Bangladesh. It's credit of people because people are paying for that. People are people are paying tax for that. So to serve the people, to do the good things. So there's a lots of challenge with the economy. There's a lots of challenge with the education and job opportunity and justice system especially. Still, we are documenting, as I'm a journalist, I'm documenting and following some bad things. I can say it's bad things, it's not even negative things. You have to figure out these things with the proper term. Or bad things means they still police back to their own pavilion, which they practiced in the old regime. And justice systems, there's a lot of question about like Bangladeshi people, you know, some of my colleagues, even when I worked on the enforced disappearance cases, and that time some of my international colleagues, they have traveled to the court here to meet some lawyers, and that my colleague asked me why the many people are in the court here. I said there's a lot of cases still. They are running for the case and to release from the tensions. Even so, land dispute case is really common in Bangladesh in every court, in lower and upper court. So still people are running in the courtyard. There is no solution even. Many files, many variations, many things, many questions, many arguments. But the justice system should be changed. It might be challenging for the Bangladesh. Maybe if the Bangladesh, it might be, sounds like it's a conservative thought, but if the Bangladesh do not see anything new in the justice system, in the education system, and in the security system, it might be get housed under the political parties. Because always, which I mentioned before, the Bangladeshi democratic situation and environment is always under the threat. So political parties, they use their narratives, and they even we saw in this interim government, we saw some even bad practices. So yeah, it's happening. The lots of challenge, but still there is a tiny windows to see the hope. So still there is maybe it will be open broadly, or maybe it will be shut down for some period, and probably people again will take this occupy the street and chant the slogans, and then maybe they will change another revolutionary things. It's a process.
And Ripon, you talked a little bit about the reforms. Bangladesh has set up a number of reform commissions. You have a commission on enforced disappearances. They signed the UN Convention against enforced disappearances. They have a women's commission now trying to create gender mainstreaming throughout the country. And then there's a kind of a general a commission as well. How are those working? Are they doing well? Are they ongoing? What are those commissions doing?
I think the Enforced Disappearance Commission have done a very, very, very great job. They have done very good. It's really powerful job, because documenting against the state forces, powerful forces in Bangladesh, which is even underdeveloping countries, and the political parties use the state forces as their party force. So it's really a good documentation they have done, and they have received lots of numerous cases, and they are investigating and they are recommending lots of things. But still, they are approaching to the government and approaching to the security forces to find out the perpetrator of enforced disappearances and also extrajudiciary killings. So, and women reformation, human affairs reformation, it got some kind of threat from some of the Islamists, because why the Islamists are now influencing to the Bangladesh is another question. But they are playing an important role in many significant windows. If I say, like, in the July movement, the madrasa students, during the Sheikh Hasina's regime, she is tried to eliminate the different religious voices. So that's why the madrasa people, the Hujur community, the Islamists, they have faced a lot of issues with the Sheikh Hasina. And that time even I have traveled to visited to the Aina Ghar with some of my colleagues, especially from the Sky News.
Anagor being the place where they would detain
Detentions
those
and
who
they picked the political opposition, and some people who are probable threat for the Awami League, they picked everyone, and there's lots of detention center, lots of Ainagars, and lots of torture chambers, which is run by the Sheikh Hasina. Even she directly monitored all those things. So that time, the Islamist people, they have faced a lot of issues, and for that they they participate on the movement against the Sheikh Hasina to change her. Especially the hot spot or hot zone of the July movement, many people are killed, many students are killed in the Jatrabari. The Jatrabari is really surrounded by the many madrasas. So Jatrabari is hard in the town, is nearby the Dhaka old city. So those people, they have participated, and they're now claiming themselves they are the significant role player of the July movement. So they sometimes proposed to the government Bangladesh would be follow some Sharia laws, some Islamic rules and regulations and norms, and that's why Women Affairs Reformation Commission, they have suggested some new, because Bangladesh always expecting the reformation. Reformation means new things, change, adopting new things. So they have recommended some of the new things, and they have recommended to came out the Bangladesh from the extreme patriarchic society. So they have suggested some nicest things, some good things, and the Islamists take the power, take the street, and they have chant the slogan, and they have demonstrated against that reformation. But there is no, and then there is no Education Reformation Commission, which is really awkward to say. Like, reformation means from the head, from the perceptions. From the perception, the reformation, the change started from the perceptions, to hearing, to delivering. But the old education trap, it also made the students, made the peoples a new slave. So why the students, most of the students participate on that movement, they expect we don't want to go to the abroad for the study. We don't go to the abroad for the job purpose. We went to study here, and we went to do the jobs and earn the jobs and spend my whole life here, to seeing my family faces. My mother, father, and brothers' faces, and with joining the family programs. But most of the people, they have graduated even bachelors and with the specifications, specific subjects, and after the graduation they didn't get the jobs, and then they chose the labor visa to go to the Middle East, to choose some Southeastern countries like some Singapore or Thailand or other countries. So there is no specific, there is a labor reformation commission, but there is no specification for the education reformation. If the education is reformed, then people will be aware for the politics, then people will be aware for the economy, then people will be aware for the freedom of expression, human rights violation, or to promote the democracy, to practice the democracy, to make themselves as a citizen, of great citizen. Maybe this chance is the best chance for myself to probe an impartial, a good journalist in Bangladesh, and also is a good chance for the Bangladesh, all the Bangladeshi peoples, all the Bangladeshi professors, civil societies, security forces, politicians, for every stakeholders is a very nice chance. Like it's 2025 now. Even in the world now, no one has that chance. They already ousted the someone is bad governor or bad government, but now they have the chance to change the world. And but there is a lack of collaboration. Bangladeshi people, they have faced lots of issues with the political parties and political government and also dictators. And that's why maybe it's a trauma to believing in the politician is a trauma. But might be Bangladesh, people can collaborate with the political parties, with the civil societies, with the activists, and it would be a nice, I mean, these practices will give us a nice outcome to make an exemplary state for the world even. It's a nice chance, in my perspective.
Ripon, you talk a lot about the future of Bangladesh, and there's elections coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
There's a number of different new political parties, and one of the political parties came out of the anti-discrimination student movement, which is the students that led the protest against Hasina. That political party is called National Citizens Party, NCP. They're leading a charge to try to be a part of the elections alongside BNP and hundreds of other, I guess, political parties, or about over 100 political parties. What do you think about the elections, and what's your hope for the future of like a democratic Bangladesh? I also want to ask you a little bit about your personal journey into journalism. So, but I'll let you start there.
Yeah. After the Sheikh Hasina ousted and autocratic system has abolished, we can say the abolished, but it's not abolished. Still the systems is in the laws, in the practices, in the policies. So, but it's a positive things. People are now aware about the politics. So that's why many people are forming the political parties, joining the politics and talking about the reformation. We need to see the Bangladesh on this stage. We want to see the Bangladesh and secular state. Some people are saying we want to see Bangladesh Islamic state. Some people are saying we want to see Bangladesh communist state. It's the nicest things. It's a democratic practice. So after the Sheikh Hasina ousted, now Bangladeshi peoples are newly forming the political parties. It's really a positive change. But students, they form the political parties, and they say this. They are trying. Even they are now campaigning. They are on the street and they are trying to meet every local people in all over the Bangladesh. So they are in the street now. They are making a campaign, and all the leaders are in the street now, and they are meeting the peoples and trying to convince the people we are the new. We will reform the state political narrative, but how? Is a big question. How they will change the political narrative. And even in some television interviews, some of the NCP leaders, they said, we will go to the rickshaw pullers, because there is lots of laborers in Bangladesh, lots of educated people. In Bangladesh is developing, but lots of labor class people are in the street. One of the key leaders, even he played a key role during the July uprising. He said, I will go to the meet with the Prado car to the rickshaw puller. And which is really funny, like who are saying or who are trying to convince the people, or who is campaigning for change, but they also take the old role or old practice to meet the people. So he says like politics in the Bangladesh still is an upper class practice. It's not the lower class practice. So politics of Bangladesh, if the NCP, still there is no chance, but they are trying to figure out the mission, how they have to work to do the politics, Still, they are not registered political party. They applied for the registration to joining the election. Still, they didn't announce their constitution publicly. Still, they are working on it. But after that, maybe we can comment on that, and we might be hopeful for them to maybe they will change the real change maker. They will still they didn't get the registration. Still, they didn't announce their party constitution, how they will rule the country. You know, in Bangladesh is very old practices they have. Like when they take the chair, they got the chair, they think like I'm a monarch or we are a monarch party, and the peoples they are not even voters. They don't consider that, they don't care the voters. So after the publishing the constitution, then maybe we can say that yes, maybe you can hopeful for that. But still they are messing with many things. They have joined, they say they are centrist, but they have joined some far extremely right party demonstrations. Even in some portions they have some sexual assault cases. They have already got that accusation against them. And yes, but above all of that, still they are the new, so we can hopeful for that. And obviously Bangladesh needs a strong political opposition. Strong political opposition. It's because Sheikh Hasina, how she turned herself and she made herself as a draconian leader or as an autocratic leader, because she killed, she persecuted, she tortured all the opposition voices. She don't like the strong political opposition. If Bangladesh did not get the strong political opposition, like a strong means strong. It's not a dramatical strong. It's not a like, okay, we are agree with these things, but we have to pretend to be a opposition. Not this. Even every political parties have the same agenda. They don't have the different economic reformation. They don't have the different education reformation agenda. They don't have the different foreign policy agenda. There's a lots of similar things, similar echoes in every political party's constitution, practices and everything. So I don't know. BNP said BNP is the leading political parties in Bangladesh. They might get the, I don't know, but they will reform. They will win in election. I don't know, but it still is a big confusion or big suspicious thing, because the student parties did not get the registration. After the getting registration, might be the scenario will be changed. So the student political parties still they didn't campaign for the education. Okay, we will change the education in this way. We will change because Bangladesh depends on the labor. I mean, garments factory. So even no one talks for the garments factory people. No one talks for the labor people. No one talks for the rickshaw pullers. Like how much money they have to earn a day. They don't have any central agenda of like getting chair is the real competition. Not changing is not a real competition in Bangladesh, which is frustrating for us. So yeah.
I mean, that's really interesting, Ripon, that a lot of the political parties are not governing for the people; they're governing just to get the chair.
They have the same echoes, John.
Yeah.
You're working in Bangladesh for long days. Even you, so there is if you read the Awami League constitution, if you read the BNP's constitution, they said we are the nationalist. Awami League said we are secular political parties. Might be NCP will say they will be a centrist party, but they have the same echo.
Right.
They have the same echo. When the populist is a big problem for the Bangladesh now. Is a big obstacle for to go forward to change. It's really because even the Indian government is still taking decision when they see some pressures from the Facebook.
Yeah.
So it should not, governing is different than the cyberspace. So there is some real agenda, but it's still Bangladesh is far away from the real agenda.
We'll have to, I know you'll be covering the elections, so we'll have to hear from you more when the elections are set in stone, I think probably early next year.
February.
Ripon, I want to switch gears a little bit from the political situation in Bangladesh. You're a really big advocate for independent journalism in Bangladesh. But I want to ask you personally how you became interested in journalism and why you became a journalist yourself. You know, we want to, and why you're an advocate for independent media in Bangladesh.
Yeah, thank you for this personal question. I born in a very, very, my territory is excluded from the all opportunity. So I'm the example, but it's personal question. That's why I'm giving, like, consider me as an example. So I born in a very coastal area in nearby the Bay of Bengal, and there is no education opportunity, no health opportunity, no even no road and transportation. Even in 2017, you get the electricity. The first electricity, my village people get the electricity in 2017. So I love to read. So I love to read. That's why I read some papers. I got an opportunity to some old papers. Like there is no chance to go to the regular basis newspaper in my area, in my village. So I got some old papers and I read them, and then I saw many in the newspaper, the journalist can put lots of advocacy, lots of new things, like Bangladesh should have to change, Bangladesh, something is happening, bad thing is happening. In my territory, lots of bad things has happened, but no one tell my story. So it might be fuel me to choose the journalism as my profession. And still I'm trying to draw the story through my words. Who are the vulnerable community in Bangladesh? Every kind of vulnerable is gender-based, climate, refugee, or politically, or socio-economically. Who are the vulnerable? Which story should have to public to create awareness. So I'm always try to tell their stories.
Ripon, what was the first story you worked on as a journalist? Or some of the first stories, maybe not the first one, but some of the early stories that you worked on as a journalist?
My first story was public. I'm a fan of theater. So during my bachelor program, I wrote some theater review on local newspaper. And this newspaper name is Azadi. Azadi means independence, freedom. So it's a Chittagong-based newspaper. Chittagong is another portion of Bangladesh. And I born there. I mean, that division. I born in Cox's Bazar, but Chittagong is a part of the, Cox's Bazar is a part of the Chittagong. So I wrote some favorite theater review on the newspaper. So I say the lots of, I created some readership. So I got one commission from the New Arab, actually. It's an eco-based newspaper. And I wrote on the Rohingya context, and it got huge attention. It's on the excluding from the booting about the Rakhine people and Rohingya people's lives. Like that article name was Myanmar Dark Truth to Democracy. So that article got the huge attention from my prestigious colleagues, and they got optimistic, and they are hopeful with myself. Maybe someone is from the community, who is the host community, and he have the nice view about the people, not refugee, not excluded, not vulnerable, about the human who have the nice maybe. So they gave me the lots of commission, and still I'm working, and still I'm trying to tell the story and trying to figure out some new stories. So every day I got a huge commission, every month, every year. So it's as I'm young, so
getting a chance to tell this story is a nice opportunity. To tell the people's story is obviously a nice opportunity, but tell the people's story is not a credit, in my perspective, because still people are suffering. So when I can say, I can take the credit, like if the Bangladesh would be the people's state, socially welfare state, then I can say, or maybe I'm a part of that change. I can take that credit, but still I'm not taking the credit. Telling people's story, as I'm a journalist, telling people's story is heavy work. Is heavy work. Transcribing people's emotion is really heavy work. Always people, when I went to the Rohingya peoples to meet the Rohingya peoples and interview them, and also Satkira, which is very vulnerable for the climate change, or Rangpur or other places, when I interview them, when I talk to them, they feel hope in their mind, but still change is under construction. So it's not my credit to tell the story, but it's the nicest opportunity to be a journalist, to still get access to read the people's mind, to tell the people's story. I think.
Thank you, Ripon. That's great.
Yeah.
You're such a good listener, and you tell stories very, very well, and you put a lot of humanity in your stories. So I really appreciate that. We're almost at about.
If I ask you one question.
Yeah.
So as you closely working with the Bangladesh, and it's the human rights violation, political development, and many things. So how could you define, or how you define the Bangladesh future in your views?
I hope for the best. I hope for a rights-respecting, democratic country, for sure. But we're about 40 minutes in, and I want to get to the audience, because I think we have a good audience here, and we have an audience online, on Facebook, and other places. So I want to get some questions from the audience. So is it okay if we open it up for question and answer?
Yes, I'm excited to take the hard question. Obviously, every question is hard question. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your perspective and the context you provided. I wanted to ask you, what do you think has been the impact of the banning of the Awami League, and what do you think is the likelihood of mass protests and possibly violence around the next election?
Very energetic question. It's really, banning Awami League. Not only banning Awami League, banning political parties is really worst way to go to find out the democracy. It's not only the Awami League. Banning any political parties it means you are excluding some voters who have the still fan base. So no one has that right. If anybody said we are way to the democracy, no one has that right to exclude someone to voting. You can, for the Awami League, you can bring the perpetrators in the custody, and you can punish them with the fair trial. Fair trial means fair trial, not a pretend, not depending on the emotions. It's human life. Human life is not a funny thing. It's not a things like it's not a game. So we have to bring them. Bangladesh have to bring them in justice and in custody, and give them a chance them to face the fair trial. And after that, Bangladesh people will decide those things. If Bangladesh would be the democratic country, and the Bangladeshi people will practice the democratic situation, democratic environment, and democratic situations, they might have to the authority, whoever else is interim or next politically elected government, whoever else. Let's hear the people. and give the power to the people to decide their own decision. Not executive orders is not it will not define the democratic environment and democratic reformation. Obviously, the owner of democracy, the people can be practice that, and people can be decide that things. Okay, we will not vote those particular perpetrators who are involved with the bloody movement. They killed even in that very short period 1,600 students and people. They got killed, and which is really very frustrating, sad thing for us. And also still many people has lost their body parts, even eyes, legs, hands, still struggling with their lives. So why the 1,400 people sacrifice their lives is for the reformation. It's not for the loading power. So I think, yeah, banning political parties is not a good thing. And also another thing is, yeah, there is maybe still probable chance to because violence is old practice in Bangladesh. Because Bangladeshi people always support always follow the populist narratives. So to winning the populist, they might be got involved in the clash. But we are still hoping for the good things. Thank you, Cordelia.
Thank you, Ripon. We have a question from online. From Wei Ya. First question, beyond the role of public and student movements, which institutional or elite actors were the key drivers of positive political transitions during Bangladeshi's July movement? So beyond, like, outside the student movement, outside the public movement, what were the institutional or elite actors that were the key positive drivers to the revolution?
Specifically, it's not. There is no answer. Many people. Maybe I can give the one answer with this way. The mass people have joined, because it's people need to reform. People need to, like, if I say quote unquote, kicked her out, the fascist, the autocratic. So people joined that, and political parties, specifically Guardian, played the very biggest role. If the Guardian did not come to the street, then maybe Sheikh Hasina will kill thousands and thousands of students. So the Guardian comes to the street. Labor community, working class people, Guardian, and after that I can give the credit to the political parties.
What do you mean by the Guardian, Ripon?
Guardian means the father and parents of the students. I first, because the working class people, they have joined. They saw the bloodshed. They saw how the police killed, the state forces, specifically police, RAB, and other forces have killed the students in the street, and they have joined. And after that, the Guardians supported that things. Okay, you must have to join. And after that, I can say the political parties. All credit obviously goes to the working class people, because Bangladesh depends on the working class people.
Thank you, Ripon. We have another question from online, and then I think I'm going to go to a question maybe from our audience here. To what extent is storytelling an effective advocacy strategy for promoting human security of Rohingya people? Yeah,
there is a lot of stigma, lots of taboo against the Rohingya people in Bangladesh, because people are frustrated about the crisis to not resolving the Rohingya issues, and there is a lot of tension has created. Specifically, that ratio is promoted by some people means some civil societies who have no idea about the human. I mean, I can say human. If anybody play the role about the civil society, from the civil society, I think they might have to know about the human, not who are they. Actually, they have to They have to know about the human. So some people has campaigned like 3% Rohingya, 90% Rohingya, and now 10% host community. So it created huge tensions in the Bangladesh. So some people are campaigning on it. So I think as a journalist, I can say I have to talk with the people, what they are feeling. And I have to talk with the both communities, like refugee community, both community, who are hosting, or actually collaborating their lives, their livelihoods with the refugees. And also refugees collaborating their lives and livelihoods with the, not livelihood actually, with the lives with the host communities. So a journalist or any researcher should have to focus on the people's story. And that people, especially people will drive us to what we have to be advocates, not to talk with the authority and their narratives. Obviously, they are the part of the story, but we first have to prioritize the telling people's story, what exactly happening. So what if we tell to the world community, tell to the authority what exactly happening, it does mean we are doing advocacy. It's the proper way to, and very best way to telling the story and doing advocacy for the insecure people, for the vulnerable people, like his refugee.
Yeah, thank you, Ripon. Human-centered storytelling.
Yes, human-centered story.
I want to open it up to the audience. Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Ripon.
Thank you.
There is a difference between engaging in politics and carrying out mass killing. So, can be the political party banned for committing this kind of mass killing?
You know, I already told, in the world, you are from the same background, like same educational background, like we have done one master's in the peace, conflict, and human rights. So I can say one thing, like practicing politics and creating opportunity to practice politics is the gateway to restore the democracy. Restore the democracy. Bangladesh should have to restore the democracy. Bangladesh is not the way to innovate the democracy. Bangladesh should have to way to the restore the democracy with the proper way, which is world manner, world democratic manner. And if anybody, because you can say the locally Awami League is an ism. If you say locally, but in the international standard, Awami League is not an ism. It's not an ism. It's just an emotion. That they have joined the Awami League and they're blind with their leaders, and even still some people are blind with their leaders who have lead the mass killing. So obviously, who are the perpetrators? They must have. Bangladesh should have to give them opportunity or open the door to bring them or get the chance to fair trial. After that, we can make a human state. We need a human state. In the back history, we saw lots of division, lots of divided things. Like he is from the other community, he is from this class, he is from the, in Bangladesh, some from the Gulshan community, some from the Dhanbandi community, some from the Cox's Bazar. Regionalism in locally in Bangladesh, regionalism is hampering, is destroying all the harmony. So we must have to bring the harmony, we must have to establish the harmony, cohesion. If anybody's brother is supporting Awami League and he didn't involve with the mass killings, and he stand for the students, and if the authority bring him in the use the forces against him or file fake cases or anything else, any interest grabbing cases against those peoples, innocent peoples, it's a violation. It's an international law violation, kind of. So I can say the Bangladesh should bring the people who are involved with the killings and involved with the torturing and forced disappearances Like there is another people who have involved with the extrajudiciary. There is another group of people who have involved with the enforced disappearances. So, I mean, many people knows that. So banning is not a good thing. Banning is not a good thing.
Thank you, Ripon. Do we have other questions from the audience? Yes.
Hello. And the youth in many countries around the world are also fighting for reform or fighting for democracy, like in Hong Kong, in Myanmar, and in Thailand as well. But they cannot achieve the success yet. So, but in Bangladesh, like you achieve the success. So I would like to know, like, what, in your view, what are the key success of the Bangladeshi youth movement?
Yeah, it's a really nice question. But even Bangladesh has faces the internet blockade that time. Even that time, people are organized and they put the graffitis, and even sometimes they use the code lines, code names, like what to go, where to go, and where they will peak, where they will, how they will announce the process, announce the protest date and demonstration dates. So there is a some connection. Like first you have to decide one things. I mean, the Bangladeshi student protesters, they have decided one things gradually. First they said reform the quota system, job quota system. The authority didn't hear that, and then they keep push for the other rough way, and that time they said they announced the 9 standpoint, 9 demand points, and after that they announced 1 point demand that you must have to resign. You already killed lots of people. You must have to resign, and then
demand has been changed gradually.
yes.
From the beginning to the.
But you have to plan for that. You have to prepare for that. Not like as a today, this system is really against the people, so you have to stand for that. Not like that. It's an organized way. Organized and ambitious and a fixed agenda will give a proper and powerful outcome.
And Rip, from what I understand, as an outsider looking in, the protest movement, student movement was also decentralized. So even if they arrested one of the leaders in Dhaka, it was a decentralized movement. So there was other groups, pockets that they couldn't arrest everyone because it wasn't this centralized movement.
Yeah, but it's not a credit, but it's not even. It's a horrific story. The first killed, Abu Said got killed in Rangpur, and the other people also got in the first day got killed in Chittagong. And when the 6 key coordinators got arrested and even disappeared, no one knows where they are. That time, one of the hidden leader, he announced that we will continue the movement. So aspirations, like what we have to do, clarification of the demands. Like I am clear, we are clear to reform this system. We are clear to reform, or we are clear to remove these types of people from the chair. So we have to focus on the agenda. First agenda, organized way, and create campaigns and create positive aspirations, and then move forward.
I think we have time for probably one more question. If we don't have anyone from the audience here, we have some more online questions. Let me just look at these, Ripon. What are reforms made in relation to the rights of Bangladeshi migrant workers?
Bangladeshi?
Bangladeshi migrant workers or laborers,
Yes.
or laborers. What reforms have been made for them?
It's really frustrating. Still, there is no significant change, because significant change and significant policy for that. Even they are the wheeler of the economy. They have sent lots of remittance, and that's why Bangladesh claim the political parties, the interim government can claim that we have that much reserve. But this money comes from the abroad, even our migrants worker. So Bangladesh still did not take any single initiative. Like they said, we open a different lounge, we give a free Wi-Fi access in the airport, but the force of even caretaker of the airport, they have treated our people, our migrants workers very badly, very inhumanly. So even the first reformation should, I mean, you know, my first experience in Thailand, I'm not comparing the Bangladesh and Thailand, but it was my first experience in Thailand. I can't open my helmet first day when I arrived here. And then one of the driver, he helped me, and before he helped, he's showing his humbleness to me, and then he opened, and then he hummed, and then I think Bangladeshi administration, they are the lord. They behave like as a lord of everything, the bureaucrats and the security forces of the airport, and that's why they behave to our migrant peoples very badly. Like they are poor people, they are slave people, they don't know anything else, they are not educated. Yes, they are not educated, but they chose to serve the nation. They chose to rebuild the nation. That's why they leave all those things, all the emissions to the country, and they serving to the other countries and activating the. So Bangladesh should first they should have to behave the migrants. Okay? Behave, and after that maybe they will take the initiative to proper policing.
Yeah, thank you, Ripon.
Thank you.
I think we're about out of time now, going for about an hour. Ripon, it's exciting to see what's happening in Bangladesh, and we're honored to have you here at the fort and here in Thailand. We hope you come back again. Just to close, can you give us maybe your hopes for the future of Bangladesh as a journalist?
Yeah, I love Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a really green country, but gradually climate effects, climate is heating the environments and heating the people's lives. Except that there's a lots of obviously I said a tiny due to change the Bangladesh, which is already close, on the way to the close, but maybe there's another chance to give a big force to open the window broadly, or it will be closed for few decades or few or 1 decade or some days. But still I'm hoping one thing, if the Bangladesh change the three things probably, I gave a chance to as a Bangladeshi citizen, I can choose 3 points. Like one is, reformation of justice. It must be, and education, and political behaves. Two is really very hardcore things, but changing political behaves is really very soft, but all the political parties should have to commit with the people, and they have to collaborate with the people. Like what people should need, what people need, what people demanding, what people calling for change or standing for change. So if the political parties hear each other, like with collaborating with the peoples and political agendas, it might it helped the Bangladesh to make an exemplary state.
Thank you, Ripon, and thank you everyone who joined us here at the fort, and thank you everyone who joined us online. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining me. It's really nice to see all of you. Thank you.